On today's Smart 7, new rules on water cause a stink, Hurricane Idalia hits the US, and lots more. It's Thursday, the 31st of August. It's National Burger Day, and happy birthday, Chloe Ferry.
The Smart 7. It's news, but
not the news.
The government is proposing new rules around water pollution, which would see a relaxation of existing regulations in a bid to develop more housing. They say up to 100,000 new homes could be built by 2030 as a result of the proposed changes, boosting the UK economy by £18 million. And despite the ongoing sewage dumping issues, Secretary of State for Housing Michael Gove insists that Britain's water quality has not decreased since the Conservatives came to power.
It's a widespread myth that somehow the quality of our water has deteriorated. Actually, we've seen record levels of investment.
The Office of Environmental Protection has objected to the changes, and Craig Bennett from the Wildlife Trust thinks the government is deliberately ignoring the potential environmental impact.
This is policy making that ignores science, ignores evidence, ignores reason, ignores logic, just pretends that pollution does not exist.
Research from the Liberal Democrats has found that water companies received £100 million in tax cuts last year, despite allowing excess water into UK waterways for hundreds of thousands of hours. Sir Ed Davey, leader of the Liberal Democrats, is calling for a crackdown on how water companies deal with sewage, claiming the government is out of touch.
10 water companies paid no tax at all last financial year, thanks to Rishi Sunak's what we've called the sewage tax cut. And it's just wrong.
Foreign Secretary James Cleverly is on a mission to China, where he's met with senior members of the Chinese government. He's raised the issue of both Hong Kong and Taiwan on his trip and defended his visit against members of his own party who feel that the UK should take a tougher stance with Beijing.
We have to have a pragmatic, sensible working relationship with China because of the issues that affect us all around the globe.
As the war in Ukraine continues, there are growing concerns over China's developing relationship with Russia, and this visit is partly intended to reinforce the UK's stance that Russia's invasion of Ukraine cannot be justified by Moscow or indeed anywhere else. Chair of the Foreign Affairs Select Committee, MP Alicia Kearns, believes Mr Cleverly's visit is vital in establishing Britain's role in maintaining Indo-Pacific order.
It is absolutely important that Britain has a role to play in Indo-Pacific, where we make clear that we will stand up for rule of law, for human rights and for self-determination, and that actually our willingness to do that is not a threat to China.
The former French colony of Gabon is the latest West and Central African nation to face a coup. It's the 8th coup in the region since 2020, and this one follows an election that would have seen President Ali Bongo re-elected and ensured that his family remain in power, a position they've held for 56 years. Military leaders took to the airwaves early on Wednesday to announce they'd taken over.
We have decided to defend peace by putting an end to the current regime. The general elections of August 26, 2023, as well as the truncated results, are cancelled. The borders are closed until further notice. All institutions of the Republic are dissolved.
The President, his family and advisers have been accused of treason, embezzlement and corruption and of making themselves rich on the country's oil reserves. President Ali Bongo Ondimba has been calling for international support as he remains under house arrest.
I'm to send a message to all the friends that we have all over the world, to tell them to make noise. For the people here have arrested me and my family. Nothing is happening. I don't know what's going on.
Florida is struggling with the aftermath of Hurricane Idalia, which hit the state on Wednesday as a Category 3 storm with winds in excess of 125 miles per hour. The storm caused severe flooding and power outages and is now headed on towards Georgia. President Biden promised assistance from FEMA, and he said he doesn't see how anyone can deny the impact of the climate crisis. One man who's not a big believer in climate change is Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who was on the ground in Tallahassee dispensing the most Florida advice possible.
We just hope everybody stays safe. Don't put your life at risk by doing anything dumb at this point. This thing's powerful. If you're inside, just hunker down until it gets past you. You don't want to be messing around with these winds.
So to come on the Smart 7, more men start a podcast, and there's a new twist on the story of Jesus.
Right after this. Welcome back.
Wednesday night saw more Carabao Cup second round action with 5 games, including Chelsea facing Wimbledon and Doncaster hosting Everton. Both Premier League sides struggled but came back to win 2-1 and go through to the third round. With no sign of any end in sight for the Spanish football row, sexism in sport has come into sharp focus. Former England women's rugby player Maggie Alfonsi is promoting her new memoir, Winning the Fight, in advance of September's Rugby World Cup, and she says that sexism and racism are both just facts of life for female players in sport.
Sexism has been probably the hardest, in the sense that it has followed me throughout my whole entire career. You know, being a woman playing what is perceived to be a male-dominated sport, almost feeling like you're always second class. You know, should a woman be playing a sport like this? Should a woman be talking about the men's version of the game?
We've battled through almost 4 months of a Hollywood writer's strike which saw late-night talk shows shut down, and then an actor's strike that saw movie sets, podcasts and red carpets on pause. But now I've got good news, or possibly bad news, depending on your love for middle-aged male TV hosts. Yes, the worst people you know have started a podcast. It's like a pandemic all over again. Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, John Oliver, Seth Meyers and Stephen Colbert have zoomed in from their bedrooms for a new limited-run podcast for as long as the strike lasts.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Fallon.
I'm Stephen Colbert.
I'm Jimmy Kimmel. I thought when you said Jimmy, you meant me, Jimmy, but you meant Jimmy.
I always mean you.
5 of us together.
Strike Force 5 is the name of our podcast. Subscribe to it now.
Spotify or wherever else you get your podcasts. But Spotify, you.
For every great historical figure, there's always a guy who thinks he could do it too. That's pretty much the plot for a new movie, The Book of Clarence. It's set in a time of Jesus, and our hero Clarence very much wants a taste of the Messiah action. So he sets himself up as a kind of Cuthbert Christ to cash in on the success of Jesus' metaphorical Colin. It's directed by BAFTA-winning director James Samuel, and it hits cinemas in January 2024.
Clarence, it's him. Jesus of Nazareth. You can't even buy power like that. I want to be like that in 10 years. I want to be like that now.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes, we'll give you the world.
The United States Border Patrol has exciting and rewarding career opportunities with the nation's largest law enforcement organization. Earn great pay, outstanding federal benefits, and up to $20,000 in recruitment incentives. Learn more online at cbp.gov/career/USBP